All right, our next question comes in by email from Matt from New York. It says, my wife is leaving her job this month to become a full-time stay-at-home mother, and I'm unsure what I should do with her 401k. How would one make the decision between 1, keeping the account open and continuing to make yearly backdoor Roth IRA contributions, or 2, move her assets into an individual IRA and contribute to a brokerage account instead of the backdoor Roth IRA? In our case, the existing average mutual fund and 401k fee is 1.3% per year, and the new average expense ratio would be 0.25% per year at the backdoor Roth IRA or the brokerage account. It seems to me that option 2 is mathematically the better choice, but I'm looking for a second opinion. Well, it depends. It depends on how long that money stays in that 401k. For example, let's say your wife takes a job in a year and has another 401k. It's a good 401k, and you roll over that money into the 401k. Well, in that case, you would have been better off doing the backdoor Roth IRA because you only had to pay that higher fee for a year. But on the other hand, if that money is going to sit in that 401k for the next 30 years, well, that's going to add up quite a bit at 1.3% per year, in which case you may start wondering if it's really worth it. But it's not like there's no benefit to having a backdoor Roth IRA for those 30 years. So I think in this case, I would go for the backdoor Roth IRA. But I would consider a few other options. First of all, if this is a relatively small 401k, rather than leaving it in that 401k, you might consider just converting it to a Roth IRA. Maybe wait till next year when you're living off only your income, pay the taxes and do a Roth conversion, convert it to a Roth IRA. That's another thing that allows you to do a backdoor Roth IRA, but also allows you to have relatively low expense ratios on the remaining amount of money. And I think I'd try to do that if it was a relatively small 401k. Now, if this is some $400,000 401k, maybe that tax bill is just too much for you to swallow at this point, in which case you're left with your dilemma. But I think for now, I'd probably leave it in the 401k if that's your only choice and start doing backdoor Roth IRAs. It's not like you can't change your mind at any given time and roll that money over to an IRA if you want. If you want your questions answered by the White Coat Investor, record your question at whitecoatinvestor.com/YQA or click the link in the description.